This question is a 60-second question. It is, do you support or oppose construction of 30-meter telescope on Mauna Kea? Why or why not? This is a 60-second question.
I think the delay in the TMT construction is a cultural, educational, and economic disaster for this island. I fully support the TMT, and I believe we're missing out on a number of different benefits and advantages that could be achieved because of it. I recognize that there are a number of different aspects of this issue that must be adequately treated and handled, and we must be sensitive to a number of different groups of people who consider Mauna Kea a sacred area. I recognize that. But to allow the state and others who provided a permit, which they had to know was incorrectly done, is simply incomprehensible to me. As your mayor, I want to make certain that we participate actively in any future discussions regarding the TMT. And I'm hoping, against hope perhaps, I'm hoping that we haven't lost the TMT forever.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Mr. Cunningham, this is a 60-second question. Your support or opposition to TMT and why, and Mr. Bryant will be after that.
This island is an organism, and the indigenous people who live here have a right to their destiny regardless of what we want to say in the name of science. We could build a floating Pie floating city in the ocean and create a balloon subsidized platform for any height that you'd want to have for a telescope that would come and rise and fall off this mega artificial iceberg for an unlimited population of people for an indefinite period of time. This is a future for our keikis, and we need to look at science in a comprehensive manner, not in just a way of taking away something from the Hawaiian people. This is their kingdom. This is their aina. This is a living organism. And we should do what the Hawaiians feel we should do about this aina here. We can go offshore and do everything scientifically that you want to do on this aina. We need to leave the aina to the Hawaiian people. This is a living, breathing organism. It is worshipful. It's a beautiful place, and it needs to be turned back into a bird sanctuary, and I intend to do that if I get elected.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. Mr. Bryant, you are next to give us your support or opposition to TMT and why, followed by Mr. Kim.
Thank you. In the 16 months since I started actively running for mayor, I've spoken to a lot of people, actually 8,700 people one-on-one so far. I keep track by making 100 cards at a time. I'm working on 8,800 at the moment. The widespread answer to support for the TMT has been, yes, we need the TMT, but we shouldn't do it the same way we already failed with the super ferry, the inter-island super ferry. There are rules to be followed, there are laws to be followed, and if you can't follow the rules and follow the laws, then you're going to screw up, and that's what they've done with the TMT so far, it seems. But the Hawaiian people that I've talked to, and most of the older Hawaiian people, I think that this is a really good program for the future. They came to Hawaii via the stars, and the stars are the future, and they're the future for the keiki. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Mr. Kim, you're next, followed by Mr. Tamashiro.
In the past few days, I've had the request to meet with several people from the Astronomy Center from the University of Hawaii, also those people that are responsible for the 30-meter scope, including those that organize the finances for it from the countries of China, Japan, India, Canada, and the United States. This project is so massive, both in a quest for knowledge, but also the tremendous coordination of funding for it. It could be a symbol of unbelievable cooperation of people of this world located here in Hawaii Island. The second thing I thought of it then, and this was stated years ago, that I thought it could be a symbol of people of different countries, of different culture working together, to understand the sensitivity and the need to respect of culture. Where we are today is because of the state government failing to do what is right. I feel the support of it, but we must do it right.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Mr. Tamashiro, you're next to speak of your support or opposition to TMT and why.
Thank you. I am, I was and I still am opposed to TMT. In fact, I got arrested for my opposition of TMT because for me, and I think all individuals and especially leadership in the community, we must not take these opportunities and these offerings that large, actually private corporations, international corporations, masquerading as governments oftentimes, they say they're doing this, that, and the other. You must do your due diligence, and as a community and as a people, we must create an environment where those that have knowledge and insight, and not every trail of hunch, you know, will lead you to a new discovery, but you must remain vigilant, and the mayor and anyone who's doing leadership as well as yourself, be careful what you're getting involved in, because it's not what it always seems.
Thank you, Mr. Tamashiro. Marlene HAPAI, followed by Wally Lau, please.
I support astronomy, and I support the process to determine its future, and the TMT is part of this. Astronomy is a clean industry, and for each astronomer, we know there are 80 support jobs. Astronomy has really helped our Big Island economy. I see a win-win scenario. Respect the host culture, respect science, follow the policies put in place by the 2000 Mauna Kea Management Plan, which actually has a description of a telescope like the TMT, but a very, very different diagram. Amend those things that are in place that have not worked to the satisfaction of both partners, the scientists and those of the Hawaiian culture. And then continue the cultural scientific practices on Mauna Kea, retain jobs created, continue enjoyment, preserve that which is special for generations to come, and retain this clean, productive industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. HAPAI. Now, Mr. Lau, we'd like to hear from you, followed by Mr. WAUGH.
You know, I support astronomy, and therefore I support the TMT project. I've always stated, though, do the Pono thing, do it the Pono way. Go through the cultural protocol and process to get that permission. Then go through the Western process of getting the various permits to do it. But what's equally more important to me is the future of Mauna Kea. Astronomy is just one thing that happens on that mountain. There's many other things that happen on that mountain, whether it's the hunters that gather, whether it's the practitioners that go up there and practice, whether it's the tour people that go up there and look at the stars, whether it's the bike riders that go there to ride the off-road bikes, whether there's the recreational people. We need to get together of all these different people, all the landowners, to come together and say, how are we going to start to Malama Mauna Kea? I really believe we all care for her, but we all need to sit down and figure it out.
Thank you, Mr. Lau. Mr. WAUGH, please give us your answer to your support or opposition to TMT, followed by Mr. Ka'euaya.
I support anything that is to the benefit of the kids that live here. They're the ones that are going to be our future. They're the ones that are going to benefit the most. I think there needed to be a legal process that had to be followed. That wasn't done. That was a very, very shoddy operation. If we're going to do it right, we also need to have a trade-off. There had to be something, and not more Taj Mahals up on the mountain. I think what we needed to do was start pulling down some of those not so useful or outdated projects, and then there would be a trade-off. Then you'd have more of the peace. I would say over 95% of the people that I've talked to support TMT in the name of education. So there needed to be some kind of a trade-off, whether it be free education for the kids that want to pursue astronomy or something like that. So I think we really need to re-examine this and also pursue it diligently, with due diligence. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Timothy Watt. Now we go to Wendell Ka'euaya.
Okay, first of all, any attorneys in the house? I'm Kamehameha over here. Okay, you know what I'll do? Solve the problem? I would ask him to do a quick claim deed on that mountain. Nobody have the title to that mountain. The University of Hawaii don't have the title. The Native Hawaiians don't have a title. Nobody have a title. We all own that mountain. Nobody else, okay? The killing part about this whole deal is the University of Hawaii haven't been honest and transparent with the operation and the dealings with those people on the mountain. If you be transparent with the Native Hawaiians and everybody and all of us, we wouldn't have any problems. And right now, I support that mountain for telescope. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we go to Eric Drake Weinert Jr.
Mahalo. The TMT project has been one of the most catalyzing issues I've seen come to the forefront lately. And I think one of the most important things and what I want to do is bring people together. To not have us be so divisive of you win, they win, but that we all win. With that said, my personal take is I'm 100% aloha aina. I'm for this land here. The best thing about the TMT project and studying outer space is that it's already 15 billion years old or so. I mean, there's different theories on what the age is, but it will also be here in another 100 to 200 years. And so this gives us plenty of time to work with each other, to malama honua, and to actually, in my experience, I've used a microscope to find that there's more life right here than we don't need to, or we can go and look out, but it's...
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. McCandless, 30-meter telescope, 60 seconds, please.
Okay, TNT, I support it. However, several things. One, UH needs to reassess and look at it. We were only supposed to have 12 telescopes. TMT is going to be 13. Also, the background knowledge on it. I used to work for the company that did the cultural impact assessment for this TMT. Really, what happened is we complied as far as SHPD's concerns in documenting the cultural process. However, we really, truly didn't have a dialogue with the community, and hence what took place through this process in trying to get TMT up and rolling. It's about us, it's about the community, and this was a good example of when, whether it's governments or private partnerships or whatever it is, doesn't listen to the people. And the only way that anything truly is gonna be successful here is if it's a kako effort and we're all taking a part in it. Mahalo.
Thank you very much.